Once you're into a teacher's course and you are ready to start your Zoom meeting, you'll go over here to the course navigation menu and look for the word Zoom and select it. Once you select it, you're going to see the hours that the teacher teaches for this course. Now, depending on what day you are subbing for, if you are on a day 1, then you would only be teaching hours 1, 2, or 3, depending on what the teacher's schedule is. If you were teaching on day 3, it would be 5, 6, 7, 8, again, depending on what the teacher's schedule is. And if we should move to a different schedule, a blended schedule, again, you just want to check the schedule you were given to know exactly which hours you are subbing for. There may be more hours here than you need to use. So when you come to this page, look over here, and if you see the word start, that means everything is working right. If you see the word join, what it means is you are not made an alternative host to the meeting, and you won't be able to start the session. And so at that point, then you would want to ask for help. So if everything looks good and you are ready to go, you would hit the start button here. And I would start class about 10 minutes before the time class is supposed to start. You don't have to admit your students all at once. You can take some time to get set up. So once you hit start, the openzoom.us opens up. You select that. And then voila, there your Zoom meeting is up and ready to go. So there are a few things here you want to do before you let students in. Note here, right now, I am not muted, so my audio is on. My video is muted, so you'll want to turn that on before you let students in. You want to check security just really quickly to make sure that the waiting room is enabled. Okay, you may want to do that right away. And participants should not be allowed to share the screen, but chat and rename themselves, absolutely. Okay, so once you get to this point, there are 2 different other pieces that you may want to get ready. One is this participants. If you select that and keep that open, it's just a lot easier for you to see the students as they come in, and you can admit them here. Now, what you may see when you select participants the first time is this, with the participants pane attached to the window. If you just check this little arrow here and select pop out, it pops out as a separate piece, and then you can move it around. It just gives you a little bit more flexibility, and you can have that off to the side so that as students come in, you can just admit them one at a time. This is a great way to take attendance. You can wait, and when a student asks to be admitted, you can select the admit and then check them off on your attendance roster. Don't worry if all of a sudden you hear a lot of students popping, asking to be admitted. Just do one at a time. That's fine. Take your time, one student at a time, admit, check it off, to make sure that you get the attendance down accurately. The other part that you may want to open is the chat. Here's the chat, and it too can be popped out. The chat is a great place for students to give you information. So sometimes I have students come in and they'll type me a message in the chat saying so-and-so's trying to get in and can't, or so-and-so's Wi-Fi went down, so they're going to be late. And so it's good for that chat to be open so that you can get any messages that students might be giving you. And students, when they first come into the room, will be muted, and their videos will be on. Sometimes students' videos are off. Again, as a substitute teacher, you want to try to encourage students to turn their videos on, but don't be punitive about a student who is not turning their video on because they could not be turning it on for a good reason. So that's how you just start the meeting and just kind of get everything set up so that it's ready to go for you to admit students.